All of my distance, welcome to another preview episode of the Let's Be Real podcast. Today we're gonna be talking about the arrival of the Bats to the White Cathedral of Madrid, Santiago Bernabeu. And to discuss all of that and more, today we have our basically in-house experts and longtime fan of Valencia, Gaya, here with us, and also the usual suspect, Kanishk. How are you doing, Gaya? Nice to have you back on once again.
Thank you very much, Farouk. I'm doing very great, and it's great to be back here talking about Valencia.
Yeah. What about you, Kanishk? And how's it been since the Clasico?
Yeah, lovely, man. Life's been good. I think, yeah, good result. I think expected. Good. The scoreline obviously does not flatter anybody. It should have definitely been at least 3-1, 4-1, and uh, you know, it may sound immature, but nothing happier than seeing Barca fans unhappy after a Clasico. No, I think a lot of talking points after the game. It was heated as it should be. I feel. Uh, it kind of reminded me of the old Clásicos I used to watch while growing up. I think some of that intensity is definitely back. And yeah, man, happy. How about you, Farooq?
Yeah, the Clasico was a good one. It was a good game, as you said. Like it could have been more, it should have been more as well. Again, like it wasn't a game without refereeing controversies and what is and what is not. But considering our previous big games under Xavi Alonso, we played Atletico Madrid, we played Paris Saint-Germain as well, and they both ended in a really bad fashion. So like this was a game that actually was about a bit of control, was about a bit of like creating of the chances. We should have scored more, and we should have won the game much more comfortably. I don't know, were you able to like catch the Clasico?
Oh yes, definitely. I watched the Clasico game, and I think it was a back and forth game. But Madrid edged it out, and it was a very nice game. Usually getting to watch Mbappe in full flow, it was so nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But then I think it's impossible, not to address the elephant in the room, which was the whole situation with Vinicius Junior, Xavi Alonso, and the reaction of the apology that he posted or did not post, or what is not. Kanish, do you want to just, give your 2 cents on that?
Look, very easy to point fingers at Vinicius right now for his behavior. It's not something that you expect from a top tier professional, let alone a footballer or any other sportsman, just a top tier professional. I think in any walk of life, in your profession, that is not an acceptable reaction. But given the context, and I think what Tony Cruz said was absolutely bang on. That when you're performing and when you're playing well, Vinicius was playing well. He created the second goal. He was all over the field. He was doing well. He was doing what he does well. And when you're doing well, when you're in a flow, when you're hitting the right spot during the match, uh, if there is a decision that has been made to substitute you, you will get frustrated. Okay, that is absolutely normal. I don't think there is any issue to feeling frustrated with oneself. That maybe he had much more to offer in the game. Maybe he could have done something more, is what he was thinking. But yeah, I think the lashing out of like his lashing out at Javier. I mean, this could have been done behind closed doors. This could have been a conversation the next morning. There were better ways to go about it. So the part which I agree with is him being frustrated. 100%, I would understand that. Anyone who has played sport or is competitive in nature will understand that. But yeah, lashing out in public in front of, like, there's a billion cameras looking at you. It's the Classico. The whole world is watching you. More than half the world was tuned in, I think, especially for this Classico. So I think doing that, I wouldn't say shows disrespect to the manager. I still don't feel Xabi Alonso is disrespected by his by his team. But I think, yeah, the reaction and the way it was done is something that I don't personally agree to. And I think Vinicius is a top professional. You can say anything about him, but you cannot discount the fact he's a top professional. Xabi Alonso has been a top professional all his life. I think it's water under the bridge. We really don't need to address it anymore. I think what's done is done. He's been given a warning, is what I've read. He's been made to understand that this behavior will not be tolerated. It's okay. Uh, I've not seen him do this before. It's also because he's not ever had to be substituted, or He's not ever had to have a lot of competition for his place in the starting 11 or in the match. He's always been one of the players who Carlo Ancelotti always counted upon. So yeah, I think it's natural for him to get frustrated. But yes, having said that, that reaction was not valid and justified. But I think it's sport; it happens. Uh, they won the Clasico 2-1. I think everyone can move on, turn this page, and just look in the future ahead.
Yeah, for me, actually, I will disagree with you on the point where you said like it's not disrespectful, it's not unprofessional. I do think, as you rightly talked about, like the point is like, of course, there's a competitive nature. There's a frustration about want to get getting subbed, especially when you're playing really well. I think there is no player on earth that you sub that doesn't get disappointed or stuff like that. But I do feel like it's very disrespectful. Like when you put in the context of the things he said. He literally said, coach, me. Like, like he was like literally addressing his frustration to the coach, not to himself. You can be frustrated in the sense that like, oh, I could have done better. Like we've seen a lot of players get frustrated with their performances when they get off and, like they kind of behave in certain ways. But I kind of feel like this was something that was directed towards Xabi Alonso, and it speaks volumes, honestly. And then the apology that followed, whereby like you basically pinpointed everyone in the text except for the person who you actually address your frustration to. Like he talked about his fellow players, he talked about the fans, he talked about the president, but he didn't mention the coach or the coaching staff. So storming down to the tunnel, of course he came out again, but storming down to the tunnel saying that, yeah, it's always me, it's better I leave the team and all this. I feel like you're pushing a line, you're pushing a limit, you're pushing a certain boundary. And for me, I feel like that was super disrespectful, and I don't know how that's gonna be solved or what's gonna happen with that. But yeah, for me, I just feel like that's absolutely not acceptable.
I do agree with you on certain points. Let me rephrase what I said. He has never had to face the situation for a very long time. I also feel that Carlo Ancelotti is a respected figure across football. He's one of the coaches. No matter which team he coaches, the opposition and everyone will always show him respect. Forget about his own team which he's coaching. Because he's so accomplished. He's like a father figure to a lot of these players. Rodrigo, Vinicius, a lot of these players. He's groomed them. He's made them into match-winning superstars. I feel Xabi Alonso, though he's good, he's still. I'm not saying that no matter how old your coach is, even if Ruben Amorim was our coach, we'll have to respect him. He's the coach. He's in a certain position for a reason. You have to respect him. At least show him the respect, in front of the world, no matter what happens behind the door, because that shows like a united front. I just feel, his reaction, having watched Vinny literally from his day one at Real Madrid, he is not someone who generally disrespects. He's not someone, he plays the game in the right spirit. He plays the game, but don't come at me in the comment section. By in the right spirit, I mean, yes, he does have theatrics and all that. All I'm saying that at the end of the match, he will shake your hand. He will give you he will clap for you if you've done well. So he's one of those players who understands that after 90 minutes, it's a game of football. You need to move on. So I think, it was just more his frustration than the disrespect. Yes. After that, I think it is bad PR management on his end. He should have mentioned the coach in the speech. I also read that, the day he came to training, he apologized to everyone, but I don't think he had a one-on-one conversation with the manager. It's okay. I mean, look, he has to play in this team, and he is an indispensable asset for Xabi Alonso. So both of them have to figure a way out to kind of work around this. This needs to be forgotten. It's really not. It's really not a lot, but yes, definitely with a warning, not just with hearsay here and there.
Yeah, I think actually, like, I think this is a point where we can bring, Guy on, because when you say like, Vini is, someone who plays the game in the right spirit and all that. And I think, Guy, as a Valencia fan, with all what's happened between Vinicius and Valencia, I think might be someone that might be able to chime into like, the character of what Vinicius has shown in the past in the league games and, what also happened at the weekend. Yeah, Guy, please go ahead.
I think I disagree with Kanish on a lot of his points, because I think one thing we're not pointing out is the fact that Vinicius has failed to understand that football is a team sport. It's not an individualistic sport. There was a reason why Xabi Alonso took off Vinicius that day, because he wanted to go more, he wanted to defend, he wanted to be more defensive rather than stay on the proactive foot. And I think Vinicius, we obviously don't know what goes on in the background or in the back room behind the scenes, obviously. But I think Vinicius' behavior was unacceptable, and the fact that he apologized to everybody except apologizing to Xabi Alonso in his public apology was also distasteful. I feel like no matter what you want, no matter what you think, the coach is still the coach. Football is a team sport. The coach will do or will make a decision that benefits or that he thinks benefits the team. If it backfired, if let's say him taking off Vinicius on Sunday backfired, then maybe Vinicius would have people would have said, "Oh, why did he take off Vinicius? Vinicius was probably right," and things like that. But then Madrid won the game, and we cannot say there was anything negative about Xabi Alonso's performance per se. One thing Vinicius needs to get in check is his ego. You can't be substituted off and complaining, saying, "Oh, coach, why always me?" and ignoring your coach and storming off. I think the coach has authority, no matter what type of player you are. If you're the best player in the world, you should understand that your coach has a certain authority over you. I can pick, not pick. And left to me, I think Vinicius deserves to be disciplined for his outburst on Sunday.
Look, I understand, Gaya, why you would want that, because I don't give fair point. I understand your frustration on it, because Vinicius is a very good player to have on your team. He's extremely frustrating to watch as an opponent. He is frustrating. I get that point. His antics, his theatrics, has a different way of probably playing football than a lot of us would. What we would call visually pleasing. He would want to draw a foul. He's always looking to get something out of the defensive player. So I understand that it's frustrating to watch him as a player. But having said that, I do stick by my point, man. Look, what he did was wrong. I never said what he did was right, and every top player should do it. Does not matter. I also said, even if Ruben Amorim is our coach, you have to respect him. The coach is there for a certain reason. I just feel his reaction, and this is what I personally feel. Please feel free to have your own opinion. What I personally feel is, uh, his reaction was more centered towards him wanting to perform better than being disrespectful. And I also said that maybe his intention to be frustrated and all was right, but his reaction and what he did in front of a billion camera was definitely wrong. And yes, he should have apologized to the coach as well when he did. I think it's just his way of being a rebel and just saying, okay, fine, I don't care, man, I will not apologize to the coach. I still stand by what I said. Even he knows at the end of the day he cannot ever become a bigger player than what he will become at Real Madrid anywhere else in the world. And even Real Madrid know that for this season, I don't know about the coming season, but at least for this season, Vinicius is an important player. So I just feel the team has to just come to an understanding, apologize behind closed doors, and just focus on like the big matches that are coming up ahead.
Actually, for me, the point here is I get what you're saying, but I would apologize if this is something that's a single thing. This is a symptom, or rather, this is a sign of a much bigger problem. Vinicius Junior has been emboldened by this team, by Carlo Ancelotti and Florentino Perez in the past. And I don't know if you read the Mario guy, the Mario Cortiana from the Athletic wrote about the whole incident. He said that the club were actually unhappy with what Vinicius did. But also, on the other hand, they're also unhappy with the way Xabi Alonso handled the situation, which to me fits into the narrative of what happened with Vinicius Junior since the whole he was supposed to win the Ballon d'Or thing, I'm going to do it 10 times more or whatever it is. Let's not forget, it's not like Vini has, been a model citizen in the league. And the reason why I actually was bringing Gaya on was because I know what happened, at the Marseille a couple of years back or 3 years back was very distasteful and all that. But there is also a point to be made about Vinicius Junior in every opposition stadium he goes in Spain. Why is no one targeting Jude Bellingham? Why is no one targeting Rodrigo? Why is no one targeting Kylian Mbappe?
Exactly my point.
He finds a way to. The point I'm trying to make is Vinicius Junior needs to be tamed. And this is now the point where we talk about leadership. And it's so obvious right now that Dani Carvajal might have the armband, but he is no captain. When you look at the captains we've had in the past, whether it's Iker Casillas, whether it's, down to Raul Casillas, what's he called?
Sergio Ramos.
And then, you go, the Cristianos, the Benzemas, the Luka Modric, and Toni Kroos, all those guys, they would have, brought Vinicius down to earth. They would have made him understand like there is. I mean, come on, Vinicius. Who is Vinicius? I mean, with all due respect, Vinicius is Robinho, man. He's Robinho level. Like the players that have played for this club like that, we've never. I mean, we've seen Cristiano say a lot of stuff, and Cristiano is very egoistical, but like not at this level. This is like next level stuff. This is next level stuff from Vinicius Junior. And again, I keep saying like it's not a single thing. If it's just one thing that's happened once, okay, it's fine. But ever since that whole Ballon d'Or thingy that the club and the coach and everything enabled that behavior, Vinicius thinks he's Jesus and he can walk on water. But the point is this is where again I will differ again from you as well. I do believe that in the long run, even in the short run, the success of Real Madrid is going to be very difficult if you play both Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior together. You're basically creating a glass ceiling. So the point is you have to make a decision now. As Gaya was saying, Vini needs to understand it's a team sport. Either you conform and play your role, or the point is I can understand his frustration because the club chose to make Kylian Mbappe the prince or the king or whatever. I can understand your frustration to that. But there are only two things. Either you accept that and move on with your life, or you find the exit door. There is no player that's bigger than the club. And Vinicius Junior, absolutely not. We're not talking about Cristiano or Raul or people like that here. No, definitely not.
I think yes, he's had a difficult time adjusting to the fact that he lost the Ballon d'Or. I think he should have won the year he lost to Rodri. Then the club kind of supported him and everything and all that jazz. Then Kylian Mbappe came and he was suddenly number 2. He was the franchise player. Even when Benzema was there, you knew that Vinicius is the franchise player. But the moment Mbappe arrived and the kind of season he had, even the first season last year, Mbappe was fantastic. Let's have no doubt about it. He had a fantastic season output-wise. Even though he started slow, did not have a great preseason, Vinicius could not kind of make a duo out of it. It was always Mbappe then Vinicius. So I think he's had a tough time adjusting to life as number 2 in Real Madrid. So I think that is where probably this frustration is also stemming from. But yeah, as you rightly pointed out, Farouk, this is Real Madrid. We do not ever consider any player bigger than the club. I mean, there have been players, as you very rightly pointed out, who have not been given a contract extension, even though they have been good players at that very particular moment in time, but they've not been given contract extensions because that's club policy, and that's also kind of a key to our success. If you see that, we do not latch on to the past so much. Even in our transition seasons, we end up winning Champions Leagues. It's because of this attitude, because you always want the best talent out there on the pitch, no matter who they are, no matter how old they are. We've seen Madrid give extensions to Luka Modric because he was still performing at a very high level. He's still performing at a very high level at AC Milan. But yeah, when that came to probably a Ramos or a Casemiro, they won us multiple Champions Leagues. There are clubs who have not won multiple Champions Leagues in this century. Very big clubs who have not won multiple back-to-back Champions Leagues. So that's huge achievements. But yeah, the club always has its own policy up there. But I think, yeah, let's not read too much into it. I don't honestly feel that this is going to be a very huge drawn-out problem. So let the parties apologize. I mean, Alonso, I don't think needs to apologize. Personally, I feel, he's too new a coach to, understand these nuances of the game, how to handle these kind of situations. He's still too new. I keep making this point every preview. He's just had 1.5, 2 proper, seasons of coaching a top level club. No disrespect to Bayer Leverkusen, but this is Real Madrid. So the challenges are also going to be that much more difficult. But anyway, let's move on from this Vinicius topic now, I think.
Yeah. Let's give Gaya the last word on that.
Yeah,
Gaya,
sorry,
anything
Gaya.
you want to add?
I think I'll just pick out one thing that Farouk said. And Farouk said, you have to conform. I think Vinicius, he definitely has to conform to the fact that, okay, there's somebody there that has more attention on him than than Vinicius himself. And I think if he is struggling to be the number 2, as you say, then I don't think he should be at Real Madrid because, again, if no player is bigger than Real Madrid, then he should know. He should know where he is at. He should know that even if there's an Mbappe that is bigger than him, there's an Mbappe that is expected to do more than him. He should let his grievances speak on the pitch, not speak when he's being subbed off. He should speak on the pitch. And I think he had a very fantastic performance in the El Clasico before he was subbed off, which is why, again, I'm saying it is a team sport. There's a reason. I'll also sub him off to be defensive. Nobody's saying he did not perform well. He performed well. His performance was very good. He was taking on players, was making things happen. But you should understand that, the game states, the flow of the game needed for Real Madrid to be reactive rather than proactive. They had to sit back and watch the game come out, and it worked out for them. So Vinicius just has to conform. He has to understand that he needs to tame his feelings, and he needs to let his actions speak on the pitch for him.
Yeah, I think we've had enough of Vini and the fallout from the Clasico. Let's take a couple of comments and then we dive back directly to Gaya and we just, go ahead and discuss the Valencia side of things. So we have Cree9 here says, hello. The Clasico means nothing. It's the Valencia game that will prove whether this team has turned the page or if that was a one-off. And then Paraman. Paraman actually 01 was saying it's such a shame that he made the Clasico win about him. So he's talking about like Vinicius Jr. And then he says also Cricket was saying like we have to keep the intensity up, like following the Barcelona win. And Cricket also was pointing about the fact that Vini and some players have become too comfortable under Carlo. They forgot that there is only one superstar in this club, and it's the club itself. Some people have forgotten that. Very true indeed. Also, Paraman was saying Vini says he loves Real Madrid so much, he wants to win with Real Madrid, but his action shows different things. Yeah, so, they just talk about they're talking about how players have been bigger, like we sold Perez, and also the fact that, interestingly, Vinicius is the third captain of the team, which is quite interesting, and that speaks a lot.
Be as far, from that, as far as possible from that captain's armband. I mean, does not deserve to be anywhere near that. That is something I can openly agree upon. At least, is not leader material now yet.
Oh, actually, Krikri is Ashik. Oh, Ashik, man, how are you doing? What happened to the tag? Now it's Krikri. All right, no worries. No worries. We're all good. Okay, now let's get back to, the matter at hand. It's the visit of Valencia to the Bernabeu. All right. It's always been, an interesting game against Valencia. Previously, it was, because of what happened on the pitch. Now it's because of, the theatrics, or rather what's happening off the pitch. The fans of Valencia, the players of Valencia versus Vinicius Jr. It's become such a heated, situation. And you always look forward to the game, especially at the Mestalla, because in the past, I mentioned, it was a very, very hostile ground. Now it's still a hostile ground, but albeit for different reason. And for that, that's why we have our, basically in-house experts and longtime fan of Valencia. Gaya, please take us away.
Thank you very much. I think this week's game, Saturday's game, is going to be, I don't know, for different reasons. I think it's not going to be the same game as last season at the Bernabeu, where we defeated Real Madrid 2-1. Valencia on terrible form currently, very terrible form currently. There's a lot of talk regarding whether the squad is still in support of the coach, or whether the squad is still playing for the coach or playing according to their abilities. And there's also Carlos Corberán that has to make things work. There's a lot of things at stake. Valencia is not looking to sack Carlos Corberán regardless of what happens on Saturday at the game. I fully expect Real Madrid to have a great game. But then again, you have Liverpool during the week in the Champions League. But then Liverpool are also on worse form than Valencia. So I don't know. I don't think there will be much rotation from Xabi Alonso. But to Valencia's benefit, there needs to be rotation. In the only big game we have played this season, we considered 6 goals versus Barcelona. I think the major thing Carlos Corberán should be looking to do tomorrow on Saturday is to not concede many goals, is to be on the defense, is to defend very well. And from there, maybe we can scrunch out the single goal, probably a goal to get the game. Valencia need that game very, 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 very much. We need that game to get our season back on track. I am hoping the game goes well for Valencia. Although the reality to me knows that that's like a 0.5% of the game going very, very well for us because I don't have faith in the team currently. I have no faith in the team currently.
Oh, wow, that's quite, that's quite a bleak, outlook from you, Gaya. Like,
2 months back, if anyone would have said this run of fixtures, Barcelona at home, Valencia at home, Liverpool away, uh, anyone would have said, boss, this is the toughest, like one of the toughest weeks before the winter break.
yeah,
But as fate would have it, I mean, come on, guy, let's be honest. Barca was a challenge, even with their 5 main injuries. It was a challenge. I do not see how Valencia is a challenge, to be very honest, with all due respect. It's.
I mean, in the last 5 matches between Valencia and Real Madrid, there have been 2 wins for each side and just a single draw. 1 win in Mestalla for Valencia, 1 win at Bernabeu. In every sense, it is a top game. If you look at the statistics, in every sense, it's a top game. In the last 5 matches, you have lost at.
It's always feisty, the encounters between Valencia and Real Madrid. They've always been feisty. It's always been very hard fought. But if you take things into just context right now, I mean, what happened last season honestly does not matter. Or what has happened in the last 5 or 10 matches. But if you just take the context right now, I just feel Valencia's in the relegation zone. They've lost 5 matches this season.
Last season, when we defeated Madrid at the Bernabeu, we were battling relegation. It was the same thing. We were battling relegation when we went to the Bernabeu and arrived at.
It was also in April. Vinicius missed a penalty. I remember. It was last season. We were also at that time not at our best. I think we were just. Farooq, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we had faced Arsenal or we were about to face Arsenal, something like that. I think that it was in and around the Arsenal fixture as well. We were also down on morale. I mean, look, I hope
Madrid didn't much. That's not an excuse. Madrid was beaten fair and square in that match, in that game. And it was against all the odds too. Against all the odds.
It was. I am not saying you didn't beat us, but I mean,
honestly, I think we're going into this game in the same as last season.
No. I didn't get you there. Sorry, Gaya. I lost you.
Okay. I think Valencia is going into this game in the same condition as last season.
I think Real Madrid just has far better quality right now on the pitch than last season. We are much more confident than what the context may have been last season. I think yeah, it's not going to be as fiercely contested a match as we generally expect Valencia to be.
I agree. You've won 12 of your 13 matches this season, with the only loss coming against Atletico Madrid. I agree. Valencia are in terrible, terrible form. But I'm saying again, I as a Valencia fan, I have written my team off. I know we're not going to do anything. But then again, I don't think you can write off a team that is probably determined to do something against Real Madrid. I think over the last years, we have seen it. Even at our worst, we always try to do something against Real Madrid. And that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen on Saturday. But then again, saying that it's not a feisty game or people thinking, oh, yeah, Valencia Real Madrid is a feisty game. In the olden days or in the past, maybe before Peter Lim, we were rivals to an extent. Yeah. We were rivals.
Yes, definitely. Valencia had a golden run in the early 2000s. In the league. I think did we meet in a UCL final as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the one where Zidane scored the wonder goal in Glasgow. No, I don't think that was the one. But yeah, somewhere around late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Kanish, there's a battle with you in the chat. Let me just read the first one. Paramano was saying, Kanish, don't underestimate these teams. And Ashik was saying, let's not say Valencia isn't a challenge, please. Like, Valencia is not a challenge on paper, but even pub leagues are not played on paper. Just to go into that, I think that the issue that you face, with players, with teams like Valencia, it's like Valencia comes to play Real Madrid with like, I don't want to say a grudge, but as a man on a mission, as, also like Gaya was saying, even before the time of Peter Lim, like Valencia was a very tough position for Real Madrid. And that's the thing, like whenever you go to the Marseille, whenever they visited, it's a problem. But even in the last years when they've even been not really good as well, it's 5 games, 2 wins each, one at home, one away, and a draw. Basically, still nothing, can separate the team. So I do feel like it's going to be, very, yeah, I think it's not right to kind of like disregard them. I know they're not of the caliber of like Barcelona or Liverpool, but I still feel like this has, the feel for potential banana skin, especially when you consider like Liverpool are just, all over the place right now. And yeah, the game of Barcelona is in the past. So I wouldn't really underestimate them and be really careful with the lineups, especially.
All I just wanted to say was right now, I don't like, obviously it's football is a current sport, right? You don't always think about the last 5 matches or the last 6 matches. You will take your team as the kind of form that you're in. I just feel the form that we're in, things have started clicking. Now is the time for Madrid to, kind of go into fourth gear, fifth gear, take it to the opposition, because we are seeing a more sorted midfield. We are seeing a much better attack. And I think defensively our woes have also kind of reduced with, of course, unfortunate injury to Carvajal, but Trent is back. So I think strengthening our defense there, I just feel Valencia is a quality opposition. I never denied that. All I'm saying is the current context of things, it should not be as big a challenge as some of the matches that we've played this season in the La Liga. If this was at the Mestalla, I would have probably said a different thing, because I know that atmosphere, that crazy home support that Valencia has at the Mestalla always, does support and does kind of help the team. That's why, you've seen results go against us. I mean, we've not won a lot of matches at the Mestalla, with all due credit to the fans and the atmosphere there. But I think at the Bernabeu, with the current form that we're in, it should not be as big a challenge. And especially also, with Liverpool coming, if Liverpool were in a different kind of a form right now, Xabi Alonso would really have a lot of questions with, team rotation, who to play, who not to play, two tough fixtures coming up ahead. But I think given the form that Liverpool is also in, it's not about them being complacent. It's just, not them overthinking about these couple of fixtures and just going in with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, that's actually a very fair point to make as well. But yeah, let's see. Like whenever you go into games as heavy favorites as well, that also could be quite interesting. But I do think like the game against Valencia, anyways, like it's always going to be a difficult one, no matter the form that Valencia in, and no matter, of course, like we got the outlook from Gaya as well, which was a very bleak one. But yeah, I still feel like it's a game that will still make me worry a bit, and especially when you consider that we might be anticipating some rotations from Xabi Alonso. Looking forward to the game at Anfield. I don't know. Maybe you want to take us through that, Kanish. Like, do you anticipate any heavy rotations from the classical lineup? Considering also we didn't play midweek, more or less.
I do expect. I mean, look, with Xabi, you're always expecting changes in the starting 11. I think we've established that by now. 14, 15 games into the season, has he played one starting 11 in 2 consecutive matches? I don't think so. I do see Trent maybe coming back, just to give him some game time before the Liverpool match. I was reading that he's kind of really charged up and he wants to prove a point against Liverpool midweek. So I think this match will be a good match for Xabi to kind of slowly give him some minutes. I still see him starting Valverde, because I think the last couple of matches Valverde has really stepped up in that right back position. He was really, really, really good in the El Clasico. It did show, was defending with a lot of hunger, was carrying the ball well. So I think maybe start Valverde at right back, then maybe give Trent a few minutes before the big Liverpool clash, because for Trent, this is kind of like, a very special fixture, and there's no better game to, kind of come back into regular football than going back to your hometown club. I think maybe, I don't know. I don't think he's resting Mbappe with the kind of form that he's in. Will be interesting to see how he uses Vinicius, because he has to use Vinicius, I feel. I also feel Franco starting this game, maybe resting, kind of Franco again. Then in the second half, maybe playing a bit of Brahim or Arda Güler, maybe on the right. I think midfield-wise, Bellingham is, I think, back to fitness and I think a very, very good comeback for him. Also, so I don't see many changes. I just see a lot of players being given minutes in the match. I would like to phrase it like that. a lot of players who are maybe back from injury given minutes to at least kind of warm up before the big match, so that he can go to Liverpool with a proper full game trained squad.
I see. What about you guys? What do you anticipate from the Valencia lineup?
So far so good. This season, to Valencia have repeated a lineup in, I think, the 9 or 10 league matches that we have played. Going into Saturday, there's been talk of a system change. Things aren't working currently for Carlos Cabran and Valencia, so I think there's a talk or is thinking of changing the system. But the last time we changed our system ahead of a big game was against Barca, and we lost in heavy manner. It was a trashing. As usual, Julian Agrizabala on loan from Athletic Club is going to start in goal. That's going to be a goalkeeper. I expect Dimitri Fouquet to be in right back. Maybe Carlos Cabran decides to play 4-2-3-1 and deviates from the 4-4-2. Or if he doesn't play 4-2-3-1, then I think he's going to play a 5 at the back system. But this thing, if he does play 4-2-3-1 like I expect, then yeah. Thierry Correa is going to play in right back. Julien Copete, Cesar Tarrega in centre back. Jose Luis Gaya in left back, the captain. And if he's not fit, maybe we'll see Vasquez play. In midfield, Javi Guerra and Pepe Lu have not trained fully ahead of the game. So I think we might see Baptiste Santa Maria and Andrea Almeida. Ahead of them, we might see Dani Rabah. He had a very good game in the Cup on Tuesday. Dan Rabah had a very great game in the Cup on Tuesday, a goal and an assist. Then on the wings, we'll see Diego Lopez, Luis Rioja, and Anel Danjuma striking on Saturday. Danjuma has been Valencia's best player this season, actually. He has 4 goals and 2 assists currently. So if anybody's going to make something happen that day, it's going to be Anel Danjuma.
Yeah, like Danjuma has been, quite an interesting player, like Villarreal and also in the Premier League for a while and then back in Spain again. So yeah, it could be quite interesting to see how that pans out. Kanishka, are you there? We can slowly wrap things up and by going towards the predictions, or let's just get some quick comments in the chat.
But it has a good squad, Hugo Duro always to look out for, Mukhtar Diakhabi always to look out for. I think, they have been very good servants to Valencia in their tenure. They've always stepped up in important occasions. So I think it will be interesting.
Yeah.
Predictions. Yeah. Okay. I'd say like a 3-1 to Real Madrid.
A 3-1 Real Madrid victory. Well, that could be quite. I do see something a bit tighter. I see like a 2-1 victory for Real Madrid. What about you, Gaya? What do you anticipate?
I'm hoping it's a 0-0 draw, a 0-0 draw.
Oh wow, a 0-0 draw. That's
hoping.
Yeah, that's the thing that one can just hope for. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the 0-0, but yeah, I think a draw might be a fair shout, but 0-0. Well, I do get where you're coming from. It's like the point is that Valencia would only hope, to not concede.
I don't think we've had a goalless draw this season with Real Madrid, no? I don't
No, there's not been a goalless draw.
Goalless draws, yeah. I mean, with Madrid, either they'll concede or they'll score. I think it's more or less has been like that. So,
it's usually both of the same. Like you both concede and you score as well. So
yeah, I do see Madrid not keeping that many clean sheets. Probably that's something maybe for the defense to figure out later. But yeah, definitely a Real Madrid win.
Yeah, exactly. But I think with that, unless maybe Guy has something to add, or like if you guys have something to add, we can slowly wrap things up and call it a day. All right. So shout out to Gaya for joining us and giving us some wonderful insights on Valencia. You guys can check out Gaya Hive on Twitter. I think the links and the description to all Gaya stuff is in the description. Please just follow him and give him a shout out. And also shout out to our sponsor for the episode. We are part of the Talksport Fan Network. You can find the links and description down in you can find the links to all that in the description down below. So just give us a shout and show some support and some love to the pod as well, and also our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They have a lot of fan arts and stuff going on, so you can just give them a shout out as well. And also to the people in the comment. I remember Ashik was there, and also like Paraman was there as well. Manas also joined us as well. Thank you all for keeping us company, and thank you for like pushing us back and forth. And also for the guys on audio platform listening. So yeah, just don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, just tell us how it's going. And yeah, see you guys next time. Until then, we see Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.